Hi, lovely people. My name is Francis, and welcome to the Say It Out Loud podcast, the podcast where we tackle conversations that matters, the ones that too often stays buried in silence. Why say it out loud? Say it out loud because I believe silence is no longer an option for our generation. You know, I've always noticed how so many important issues around us remain unspoken. We whisper about them in small cycles, or we avoid them completely because they are uncomfortable, or better still, because we fear what others might think. But I realize something: silence has consequence. When we don't talk, misunderstanding grow. When we don't share, people feel alone. And when we don't confront the hard truths, nothing really changes. That's why I decided to start this podcast. It's not just about talking, it's about creating a space where honesty lives and where difficult conversations become possible and where we remind ourselves that unspoken doesn't mean unimportant. This is actually my way of saying enough with the silence. Let's put it all on the table because every story, every struggle, and every idea deserves to be heard. In many cultures, silence is taught as a virtue. We are told to keep things in the family, to hide pain, or to basically avoid questioning authority. On the surface, this looks like respect, but in reality, it often protects harmful behaviors and prevents accountability. When silence becomes tradition, cycles of harm continues unchecked. Generations grow up believing that speaking out is dishonor, when in fact it can be the most honorable act of all. In our society today, silence shows up in topics we label as off limits. Conversations about politics, money, or mental health are often brushed aside as uncomfortable, impolite, or even dangerous. But this avoidance creates stigma. It leaves people uninformed, isolated, and powerless to address the very issues shaping their daily lives. By keeping quiet, we normalize ignorance, and in doing so, we lose the chance to build empathy and solutions together. Silence is not only external, it's internal too. Many of us carry unspoken fears, questions, or frustrations that weigh heavily on our minds. We convince ourselves that, oh, that no one wants to hear or that our struggles are too small to matter. Yet that silence eats away our confidence and connection. The personal cost is huge: missed opportunities for healing, growth, and solidarity. Speaking up, whether in a conversation, a journal, or a podcast, can be the first step to breaking free. Put together, the problem of silence isn't just culture, to be honest with you, social or personal. It's actually systematic. And until we challenge it, silence will keep protecting the very issues we most need to confront. This podcast is a space where honesty and courage meet. It's safe because everyone's voice matters, and respectful dialogue is at the heart of what we do. But it's also bold because we are not afraid to touch the topics many shy away from. Talk of social, economic, cultural, political, or lifestyle related. If it shapes our lives, it belongs here. I want to let you know that every conversation on this platform is rooted in truth. Some will be light and relatable, others will be tough and even uncomfortable, but all will be very necessary. By naming the issues we often avoid, we create room for growth, empathy, and change. This podcast isn't just about listening, it's about transformation. With every episode, listeners will walk away with something new: a fresh perspective, a deeper understanding, or even a practical step that they can take in their own lives. The goal is simple: to spark thought, inspire action, remind us all that silence is not an answer. The vision is one line: a bold and safe space where truth is spoken, perspectives are challenged, and every listener leaves empowered to act. This podcast is not just about the voice behind a microphone. It's about building a space where many voices come together. It's about creating a community that values truth, embraces courage, and seeks real challenge. When you listen, you are not just an audience here. You are part of the conversation, a movement, a family that believes silence should never win. The stories, questions, and reflections shared here are meant to connect us, challenge us, and remind us that none of us are alone in facing the issues that matter the most. This is our space, a place where we learn from one another, hold each other accountable, and build the courage to live differently. Because real change doesn't happen in isolation. To be honest with you, it happens in community. Silence might feel safe, but it's an illusion, to be honest with you. Real safety, real progress comes when we face the truth together. That's why say it out loud. Thank you for joining me for the very first episode. Subscribe, share with a friend, and let's begin this journey together. And here's my question to you: what's that one thing you've been afraid to say out loud? Send me your answers and let's start the conversation. Say it out loud.